Today we're going to talk about a few newborn and baby items that I would recommend you skip or at least consider skipping before you add these on your registry or purchase them. So newborn hats. I would not specifically get newborn hats because oftentimes sleepers will come with a hat when they're in the newborn size. Not all of them by any means, but how many hats do you really need? If a couple sleepers come with hats, plus you have the hat they got at the hospital, you can make do probably. Newborn socks, I'm not a fan. I couldn't stand putting socks on my newborn baby. I preferred, if it was cold, just to have them in a full body sleeper. For the most part, that does the trick. So along with newborn socks, newborn shoes. I know some people will get shoes for like a photo shoot. I preferred my babies just to be barefoot. If they were in like a dress or a formal outfit, that was just my personal preference. I thought shoes were difficult and, in my opinion, unnecessary. Multiple types of burp cloths. I recommend you get one type and that is it. The reason behind this is when you go to do the laundry, if you have 4 different styles or sizes of burp cloths, guess what? Now you have 4 different piles you're folding. You have 4 different places you're putting them, whether it's in a dresser or whatever. You've got 4 piles. You know what I mean? It's more to organize. So I recommend one type and just stick with it. A bottle drying rack. I was a breastfeeding mama, so I didn't really use bottles in the first place, but I would not get a bottle drying rack. I would just dry bottles on a towel. A drying rack that's specifically for baby stuff is only going to last so long. It's like, to me, it's wasteful for the environment. Like, get a adult dish drying rack that can be used longer, or you already have it, or just use a towel. Maybe even like, if you're worried about all the little parts, just get even like a bucket and just store them in that, or let them dry off in that. So anyway, bottle drying rack is a no-go for me. Tons of baby bottles. Again, I'm a breastfeeder, so this isn't necessarily my direct experience, but with babysitting and my involvement around different children, I recommend you only get about 5 or so bottles. Depends on if you're sending them to daycare. You may need extra for that. But the fewer bottles you have, the more you will keep up on dishes. If you have 10 bottles, you're going to get behind on dishes, and then you have to wash 10 bottles, and it's a lot more work. This can be a personal preference. Some people would rather have 10 bottles, wash 10 at all at once. Other people would rather keep up on their bottles. One tip I do have regardless is after your baby eats, always rinse the bottle out. You don't have to fully wash it, and it will make washing the bottle so much easier. An item that we didn't personally use was the nose Frida. We didn't have a use for it. It wasn't our go-to item. Some people love it, so I can't completely knock that one, but for us, it was a no-go. Drool scarf bibs, like handkerchief style for newborns. I see the purpose in these items. I honestly do. But by the time you're feeding and burping baby, it's like, okay, if they spit up, the burp rag is dirty. Now the drool scarfy bib thing is dirty. And then if they get it off that, their outfit is still dirty anyway. So now you have 3 things to wash and put away later when the laundry's done. I would almost rather have the burp rag and the outfit. And if it gets dirty, it gets dirty. So I wasn't a big fan of the drool bib scarf situation. Some people love them and swear by them. For me, it was more of a no-go. And I was always worried about them being too tight on their neck or like in the car seat. I felt like it was too much with the straps and the bib. So again, just not a preference for me. Multiple pacifiers, like in different types. I recommend you start with one type, and ideally you just stick with that one type. Now, if your baby really, really refuses it, go on buy other types. But don't stock up on 3 or 4 different styles of pacifier before your baby's arrived. Try to be minimal in this is my recommendation. These are some of the smaller items that I'm just talking about today. I'll do another video on some of the larger items and ones that I think are worth it or not worth it as far as the investment. But these are some small items that I would recommend skipping, my thoughts on them and why. And you may completely disagree, and that's perfectly fine. Of course, as always, we're all going to raise our babies differently. So comment down below any small items that you would recommend other new mamas skipping or consider skipping. Or if you want to comment that you disagree with my choices as well, that's perfectly fine, and say how you found that item useful or why you loved it in your home and in your situation. So check out some other videos if you want more information and more thoughts on breastfeeding, baby registry, and all the things. We'll see you next time.